So the MA in Gender, Sexuality and Culture is for people who are interested in gender and sexuality but want to deepen their knowledge about debates and the history of debates. They want to perhaps think about ways of making better arguments and challenges to forms of discrimination or prejudice against people because of their gender and sexuality.
The students on the MA in Gender, Sexuality and Culture at the University of Manchester experience not only a really high level of academic intensity and engagement, but also incredible social experience, meeting other people from all around the world who are interested in topics of sexuality, gender, race, class, and an opportunity to engage in the Academy and in the City of Manchester.
Manchester has such an interesting history when thinking about the history of feminism, the history of queer rights. We think about Manchester as the birthplace of the suffrage movement, where the Pankhursts come from. Manchester has become a real European hub for queer and feminist culture.
So I chose to study the Gender, Sexuality and Culture MA because I thought that the course looked really appealing to be able to delve more into queer theory and the more technical, theoretical side of things, and just generally seemed like Manchester had a lot to offer in terms of the cultural hub to do with gender and sexuality specifically as well.
One of my favourite cultural places in Manchester is home, where we are right now. It's got loads of cool events on and lots of film screenings as well, which is great. There's the Anthony Burgess Foundation as well, where a lot of the sort of university events happen, like the Centre for New Writing especially.
We have the Sexuality Summer School, which is at the end of every May. We have a week of seminars, workshops and lectures with some of the leading theorists in the field. And then in addition to that, we have a week of public arts events, which we partner with various arts organisations in the city.
The Sexuality Summer School is really vital part of the university's commitment to tackling homophobia, transphobia and sexism. And for MA students, it offers incredible opportunities to engage with academic rock stars, artists, activists who are kind of contributing to the sort of cutting edge of thinking about gender and sexuality.
And from next year, from 2022 to 2023, I'll be introducing a new course on trans theory, which will give students the opportunity to consider the emergence of trans theory and trans studies, and to think about transness as a site of knowledge production.
So I would really recommend this MA programme to those who are curious and questioning the things that they think they already know or experience about gender and sexuality, and want to really delve into the theoretical concepts that they might have.
I think one of the things that the RMA programme is particularly useful for is as a really strong foundation for going on to PhD study. So people who will take our MA can really hit the ground running when they start their doctoral work. They don't have to spend the first year or 18 months getting up to speed on a lot of the debates in the fields in feminist, queer and trans studies that they otherwise might have had to do had they done a less specialist MA.
The students who come on this course, it's a very interdisciplinary course and they come from many different disciplinary backgrounds. So they go in very many different directions after they finish their MA. Some of them go on to do PhDs here at Manchester in gender and sexuality studies. Others get involved in organisations in this city or in other cities. Some have worked for the LGBT Foundation here in Manchester. Others have worked in curation and art organisation and exhibitions and fundraising and charity work. So there are very many directions that the students go in. Some of those directions are really shaped by their experience here at Manchester.
Taking part in this MA totally upends your worldview, and you find that very deeply held assumptions that you came to the course with end up being sort of thrown up in the air. It's a really transformative experience.